Somewhere deep inside, you may be tired of fighting yourself, tired of trying to be better before you are allowed to be loved, tired of waking up and scanning your life for what is wrong. And if that is where you are today, dear one, I want you to know this. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. You have simply been carrying a heavy story for a long time. Some of us learned early that love came with conditions. Be good, be quiet, be successful, be helpful, be strong. And when we couldn't meet those invisible rules, we turned the disappointment inward. We began to speak to ourselves in a voice we would never use with someone we cherish. We became our own critic, our own judge, our own relentless teacher. Have you ever noticed how quickly the mind can find a flaw? One glance in the mirror, one mistake in a conversation, one memory of something you wish you had done differently, and suddenly the heart feels smaller, the shoulders tighten, the breath becomes shallow. It can feel as if you are living in a house where the lights are always off, where you tiptoe from room to room, hoping you won't disturb the part of you that hurts. Let me offer you a gentle promise, not a guarantee, not a demand, just a possibility. When you begin to accept yourself fully, healing begins. Not because you force anything to change, but because you stop attacking yourself while you are trying to grow. Many people discover that when they soften their inner language, their whole life starts to feel a little safer. And from safety, transformation becomes possible. So take a breath with me now, a slow, kind breath. Let your body hear you say, even if you don't believe it yet, it is safe for me to be on my own side. I've learned something beautiful over the years. We are not here to perfect ourselves into worthiness. We are here to remember that we were worthy all along, and yet so many of us live as if love is a prize we must win. We think, when I fix this, when I heal that, when I finally become the version of me that everyone approves of, then I'll relax. Sweetheart, that day keeps moving farther away when you chase it with self-rejection. Imagine your inner world as a home. Your true self is the homeowner, the one who was born with an open heart and a natural right to exist. But over time you may have locked certain rooms. The room of anger because you were told it was unacceptable. The room of grief because it made others uncomfortable. The room of desire because you feared it would disappoint someone. The room of joy because you didn't want to be too much. And then you walked through your own home like a visitor, careful, tense, hoping not to open the wrong door. What if your healing is not about building a new home, but about coming home? What if you could begin to open those doors one by one with gentleness? Acceptance is like turning on a warm lamp in a forgotten room. Nothing is forced. You simply let yourself see what is there, and you offer it kindness. Now you may be thinking, if I accept myself, won't I stay the same? That is such a common fear. We believe judgment is what motivates us, but judgment only creates fear, and fear creates exhaustion. Acceptance is different. Acceptance says, you belong. And when you belong to yourself, you naturally make choices that support your well-being, not out of punishment, but out of love. Let yourself consider this. The part of you that feels messy, scared, or imperfect is not the enemy. It is a part of you that has been waiting for warmth. When you stop rejecting it, it doesn't take over your life. It settles. It exhales, it begins to trust you. So today, I invite you to try a tiny experiment. Put one hand on your heart, feel the rise and fall of your breath, and whisper, like you would to a child who is learning, I am here with you. I am not leaving. If tears come, that's okay. If nothing comes, that's okay too. You are not doing it wrong. You are practicing safety. And here's what I've come to understand. Acceptance is not a single moment. It is a relationship you build, like a garden you tend. You don't plant a seed and then shout at the soil to hurry up. You water, you wait, you protect the young sprout from harsh winds. You offer sunlight. You trust that growth is happening even when you can't yet see the bloom. There is a gate at the entrance of the heart, and many of us have been standing outside it for years, holding a list of reasons we are not allowed in. Too sensitive, too needy, too late, too broken, too much. But the gate was never meant to keep you out. It was meant to keep love in. And the key, dear one, is acceptance. Sometimes acceptance begins with a simple sentence. I don't have to argue with myself today. Can you feel how that loosens something? The mind may still chatter, but you don't have to wrestle it to the ground. You can listen without obeying. You can notice without collapsing into shame. I know what it is like to want to be different. I used to think that if I could just become perfect, I would finally be safe. But perfection is a moving target, and it keeps you chasing approval instead of receiving love. What I discovered is that the moment I began to treat myself with kindness, my life began to open in new ways. Not instantly, not magically, but steadily, like dawn arriving. Now let's make this practical, because love is not only a feeling, it is a practice. In the morning, before you reach for your phone or your worries, try giving yourself a few seconds of gentleness. Sit on the edge of your bed, breathe, and ask, what would be supportive for me today? Then choose one kind sentence, something like, I am learning to trust myself, or I allow today to be simple, or I can take one step at a time. Let it be small. Let it be real. And if the old voice says that's not true, you can answer softly, I am practicing. That is enough. Practice is how the gate of the heart opens. Now, there is another layer to this. The mind believes what it hears repeatedly. Many of us have been repeating criticism for so long that it sounds like truth. You're not doing enough. You always mess it up. No one will stay. You should be ashamed. And because the mind is loyal, it tries to protect you by keeping you small. It thinks, if I point out the danger, you won't get hurt. But the cost is that you live in constant tension. This is why I love the gentle practice of mirror work. Not because it is a trick, and not because it fixes everything overnight, but because it gives you a new relationship with your own eyes. Your eyes have seen so much. They have witnessed your bravery. They have held your tears. They deserve kindness. If you feel ready, stand in front of a mirror sometime today, just for a moment. Look into your eyes the way you would look at someone you truly care about, and say, I am willing to be on my own side. If you can, add, it is safe for me to be on my own side. Notice what comes up. Maybe resistance, maybe grief, maybe laughter. All of it is welcome. You might feel silly at first. That's okay. You don't have to force sincerity. You can start with willingness. I am willing to learn self-love. Willingness is the first crack where light enters. And light, dear one, is very powerful. Let me share something I discovered. When I looked at myself with compassion, I began to hear my own needs. It was as if opening a window in that inner home let fresh air move through the rooms. I could finally notice, I'm tired, or I'm lonely, or I need rest, without shaming myself for it. And when you can hear your needs, you can meet them. So after mirror work, choose one small act of care. Drink water, stretch your shoulders, step outside for a minute and feel the sky. Send a message to someone safe, or simply say no to something that drains you. Love becomes real when you act on it gently. And if you stumble, sweetheart, be kind about that too. You are not failing. You are learning. Healing begins the moment you stop using pain as proof that you are unworthy. Sometimes the hardest part of acceptance is making room for your feelings. We were taught to be fine, to be polite, to move on quickly, to not make a scene. So we swallow our emotions and they become heavy. They become a pressure we carry in the chest, a knot in the stomach, a tightness in the throat. I'm not saying emotions cause every physical experience. That would be too simple, and life is more complex than that. But many people find that when they allow feelings to move, their bodies feel more at ease and their minds feel less clenched. Think of your feelings like water. When water flows, it nourishes. When it is dammed up, it becomes stagnant. Acceptance is allowing the water to move through you without judging the river for being wet. Your sadness is not wrong. Your anger is not evil. Your fear is not pathetic. They are messages. They are waves, and you can learn to surf them with compassion. Have you ever tried to talk yourself out of a feeling? It usually doesn't work. The feeling just goes underground, and then it pops out later in a way that surprises you. So let's try something kinder. When a feeling comes, place a hand on your heart and name it softly. This is sadness. This is disappointment. This is fear. Then add, and I can be with it. You are not the feeling. You are the loving presence that can hold it. In that inner home, feelings are like visitors knocking at the door. You can open the door, offer them a chair, and listen. You do not have to let them take over the whole house. You simply acknowledge them, and they often soften. Here is a small practice I love for anxious moments. Breathe in and imagine you are opening a window. Breathe out and imagine stale air leaving. With each breath, say, I allow myself to be here. Or, in this moment, I am safe. Not because nothing hard will ever happen, but because right now you are with you. And that changes everything. Now, if you are going through something intense, please remember, these practices are not a replacement for professional support. They are gentle companions. It is wise to reach for the help that truly supports you. Self-love includes asking for what you need. And still, even in the middle of difficulty, you can return to this anchor. It's safe for me to take my own side. Say it like a warm blanket. Let it rest on your nervous system. Let it remind you that you are not alone inside yourself. Let's talk about the part of you that learned shame. Shame is not your true nature. Shame is a learned response, often handed down from people who were also hurting. It tells you, hide. It tells you, if you show who you are, you will be rejected. And so you perform. You become the helpful one, the strong one, the agreeable one, the achiever. And you may be very good at it. But sweetheart, performing is not the same as being loved. There is an inner child in you who still believes love must be deserved. That child is not foolish. That child adapted in order to survive emotionally. So when you feel resistance to self-acceptance, don't scold yourself. You are meeting a younger part of you who is afraid. And what does an afraid child need? Not criticism, not lectures. They need tenderness. They need consistency. They need a safe voice. I want you to imagine for a moment that you are holding that inner child. You can picture them at any age. Maybe they are 5. Maybe they are 12. Maybe they are you last week. Look into their eyes and say, I see you. I believe you. I am here. Can you feel how that might soften something? Now, this is where forgiveness begins. Not the kind that excuses harm, but the kind that releases you from carrying poison in your own body. Forgiveness can start with one small sentence. I did the best I could with what I knew then. Try it. Let it land. You may not feel it immediately. That's okay. The mind may argue. Let it. The heart is learning a new language. Forgiveness also includes forgiving yourself for not being perfect at acceptance. Some days you will love yourself easily and some days you will not. That is normal. Healing is not a straight line. It is a spiral. You may revisit the same lesson with a deeper layer of compassion each time. Here is a practical way to work with shame when it appears. When you notice the thought, "I'm not enough," pause and ask, "What would I say to someone I love who felt this?" Then say those words to yourself, out loud if you can. You are retraining your inner voice. You are becoming the parent you needed. And if you can only do one thing today, do this. Stop using harshness as a tool. Harshness is not discipline. Harshness is abandonment. Love is discipline. Love is staying. Love is guiding. Love is saying, we can do this together. So again, dear one, return to the truth you are practicing. It is safe for me to be on my own side. Now, there is something else acceptance gives you, clearer boundaries. When you accept yourself, you stop outsourcing your worth. You stop needing everyone to approve of you for you to feel okay. And then you can say yes and no from a calmer place. Many of us were taught that boundaries are rude, that saying no is selfish, that having needs is inconvenient. But I want to offer you a different view. A boundary is simply the way you honor your own heart. It is the fence around the garden that protects what is growing. Without a fence, everything eats the new sprouts, and you wonder why you are depleted. Have you ever said yes when your whole body was whispering no? And then later you felt resentment, exhaustion, or a quiet sadness? That's your inner wisdom speaking. Acceptance means listening to that wisdom. Let's make it simple. Here are a few gentle boundary phrases you can practice in real life. You can say, "Let me think about that and get back to you." You can say, "I'm not available for that right now." You can say, "That doesn't work for me, but I appreciate you asking." Notice how none of those are harsh. They are kind and clear. Boundaries do not require anger. They require self-respect. If your heart trembles when you set a boundary, that's okay. Courage can feel shaky. The goal is not to be fearless. The goal is to be loving with yourself while you choose differently. You can breathe and remind yourself, I am allowed to take care of myself. You are not responsible for managing everyone's feelings about your needs. I learned that when I began to honor myself, some people adjusted and some people did not, and that was information. Acceptance helps you see clearly who supports your growth and who only likes you when you are small. This is not about blaming anyone. It is about truth, and truth is healing. Now, if you have been in relationships where boundaries were not safe, please be gentle with yourself. Go slowly. Seek support if you need it. Self-love includes safety. Self-love includes wise steps. You do not have to prove anything by pushing too hard. Try one boundary this week that protects your energy. It might be as small as turning off your phone for 10 minutes. It might be leaving a conversation that turns cruel. It might be saying, I need rest, without apologizing. Each boundary is a vote for your worth, and as you practice, you may notice something surprising. The more you accept yourself, the more peaceful your choices become. Life may not become perfect, but you become steadier. You become a safe place for yourself to live. And here's another gentle doorway into acceptance. Changing the word should. I should be better. I should be further along. I should not feel this. I should have known. That little word can sound like a whip. It pulls you out of the present and into a courtroom where you are always on trial. What if, instead of should, you tried could? I could take a small step. I could rest for 10 minutes. I could ask for help. Can you feel the difference? Could is an open window. Should is a locked door. Sometimes I invite people to do a room-by-room walk through their inner home. You don't have to do it perfectly. Just close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing in your own hallway. Behind one door is the room of old mistakes. Behind another is the room of comparison. Another is the room where you store all the times you felt rejected. And there may be a room filled with dreams you stopped believing in. Now, sweetheart, you are not going in to judge what you find. You are going in to bring a little light. You can open one door, peek inside, and say, I see you. Then you can decide what is needed. Maybe you place a gentle blanket over the harsh memory. Maybe you open a window and let fresh air move through the shame. Maybe you sweep the floor of self-criticism with one kind sentence, I am learning. Then you close the door gently, not to hide it, but to honor that you can return later. Healing happens one room at a time, one breath at a time. Another practice that can be so tender is writing yourself a compassionate letter. Imagine you are writing to someone you adore who has been through what you have been through. What would you say? Would you call them lazy, foolish, or unworthy? Of course not. You would tell them they are brave. You would remind them they are still lovable. You would comfort them. So write those words to yourself. And if writing feels hard, speak it into your phone as a voice note. Let your own voice become a safe place. You might ask, but what if I don't believe these kind words? That is okay. Belief is not the first requirement. Willingness is. You can say, I am willing to consider that I might be worthy. You can say, I am willing to soften. And each time you practice, you lay a new pathway in the mind. When you catch yourself spiraling, try a simple present moment question. What is true right now? Right now, you are breathing. Right now, you are listening. Right now, you are here. This moment can be gentle. You can choose one gratitude that does not deny your pain. A warm cup, a clean sheet, a friend's message, the sound of rain. Gratitude is not pretending everything is perfect. It is remembering that light still exists. And if you have a day where you can't find gratitude, don't shame yourself for that either. Some days are for resting. Some days are for simply getting through. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to have tender days. Acceptance includes permission. I want to share a little image with you. Imagine a piece of sea glass. Once it may have been sharp, jagged, broken, but over time the ocean did not punish it. The waves did not lecture it. The water simply met it again and again with steady motion, smoothing the edges. And one day, what was once dangerous to touch becomes something you can hold in your palm, soft, luminous, beautiful. You are like that sea glass, dear one. Life may have chipped you. People may have spoken in ways that cut. You may have judged yourself harshly as you tried to survive. But you are not doomed to remain sharp with pain. With consistent gentleness, the edges soften. Over time, you may discover a new tenderness in yourself that feels like strength. And here is the most important part. The ocean didn't demand the sea glass to become worthy. It simply kept meeting it. That is what your practice is. You meet yourself again and again with kindness. You do not abandon yourself on the days you struggle. You do not require perfection before you offer compassion. You simply return. So let's create a simple daily rhythm. In the morning, you offer a kind sentence. During the day, you pause and name your feelings without judgment. In the evening, you release what you carried. For bedtime, I love a gentle closing practice. As you lie down, place a hand on your belly or your heart. Breathe and say, I release today with love. If there is something you regret, you can add, I forgive myself. I am learning. If there is fear about tomorrow, you can say, I allow tomorrow to take care of itself for now. Then imagine turning off the lights in your inner home, not in darkness, but in peace, knowing the house is safe. If your mind replays old scenes at night, you can whisper, "That is over, and I am here now." You are not trying to erase your past. You are giving your nervous system a new present. And if you forget, if you fall asleep in worry, please don't use it as evidence that you failed. Sweetheart, you are human. You are healing. You can begin again in the next breath. That is the gift of life. It offers you another moment and another. Sometimes you will notice old patterns returning at the most inconvenient times. You might be standing in a grocery store or answering an email, and suddenly a wave of self-doubt rises. That doesn't mean you are going backward. It means a tender place is asking for attention. Healing is seasonal. There are springs of hope and there are winters of quiet rebuilding. Even the trees rest. Even the earth pauses. Rest is not failure. It is part of renewal. When you feel triggered, try a simple 3-step reset. First, pause and feel your feet on the ground. Second, place a hand on your heart and soften your jaw. Third, offer yourself one true sentence. I am here. I am allowed to slow down. I can choose kindness in this moment. You don't have to solve everything. You only have to stop abandoning yourself. And if you need more support, please reach for it with pride, not shame. Talking with a trusted professional, joining a supportive community, or sharing with someone safe can be an act of profound self-love. You deserve tools and companionship. You deserve care. Right now, take a slow breath and let this truth land in your bones. I choose to be gentle with myself. I choose to be on my own side. It is safe for me to be on my own side. Now, as we come toward the end of our time together, I want you to feel how far you have already come just by listening. The fact that you are here, the fact that something in you is reaching for kindness, is a sign of strength. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't have to solve your whole life in one sitting. You only have to take one loving step and let it be enough. Acceptance is not a passive state. It is an active devotion to your own well-being. It is choosing again and again to speak to yourself with respect. It is opening the locked rooms with patience. It is letting fresh air in through the windows. It is standing at the garden gate of your heart and deciding to come inside. What if your life begins to change not when you become someone else, but when you stop turning away from who you are? What if your healing begins the moment you say, I belong to me? I want to leave you with a simple moment you can return to any time. Sit quietly for a few seconds. Feel your breath. Imagine a warm light in the center of your chest, like a candle that never goes out. With each inhale, that light grows brighter. With each exhale, it softens the tight places. And say to yourself gently, I accept myself in this moment. Not forever, not perfectly, just now. If you want, you can repeat a few loving truths in your own words as you go about your day. You can say, I am worthy of love as I am. You can say, I allow myself to learn. You can say, I can start small. Let them be like seeds. They don't have to bloom immediately. They are still doing their work. And when the old voice returns, as it sometimes will, you can place your hand on your heart and answer, thank you for trying to protect me. And I choose love now. That is maturity. That is healing. That is you becoming your own safe place. Dear one, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are a beautiful life learning how to live in kindness. And I believe in your ability to come home to yourself. Take one more breath with me. Feel the steadiness in your body. Feel the gentleness in your chest. And let this be your closing prayer, spoken softly to the universe and to your own heart. It is safe for me to be on my own side. And so it is.